The Man Who Watched the World.
Every day, Arthur sat by the window of his small, cluttered apartment, his eyes fixed on the street below. He was a prisoner, not of locks or bars, but of his own mind. The world outside bustled with life. Children darting between lampposts, couples laughing as they strolled arm in arm, and delivery workers hurrying to meet deadlines. Arthur envied them with a longing so deep it ached. He wanted more than anything to be like them, to walk, to laugh, to live. However, he was tethered to the fear of what tomorrow might bring, like a boat moored to a dock, unable to set sail. Arthur's days were marked by a meticulous routine. He avoided the television. Even the weatherman's harmless chatter seemed like a harbinger of catastrophe. The radio was no better, its news bulletins a steady drumbeat of calamity. His phone lay face down on the kitchen counter, battery dead for weeks. He hadn't touched it since the last time his mother called, her voice trembling with worry. He couldn't bring himself to answer. What if she had bad news? What if something had gone terribly wrong? The thought alone was enough to send a chill up his spine. The world outside might as well have been a painting for all he interacted with it. He watched it, but never touched it. Passers-by were actors in a play he could never join. They moved with a freedom he couldn't fathom, their laughter ringing out like a melody he would never hum. His anxiety was not the loud, panic type. It was a quiet thief, stealing joy in broad daylight. Each day, Arthur's thoughts spiraled into what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. What if the bus he boarded tomorrow crashed? What if the stranger at the cafe coughed and left him gravely ill? These thoughts were like weeds, choking the garden of his mind until no space remained for anything else. Nighttime was the worst. Alone in the dark, the weight of his fears bore down on him like a lead blanket. He would lie on his back, staring at the cracked ceiling, tears streaming down his face. "I'm wasting my life," he whispered into the silence. He knew it was true. He felt it in his bones. But the knowing didn't change anything. Arthur remembered happier days, faint glimmers of a past life, when he would meet friends for coffee or take spontaneous road trips. Back then, he had lived for the moment. But over the years, his fears had crept in, inch by inch, until they became his entire world. They whispered lies to him, that the future held nothing but pain, that the present was not safe, that it was better to lock the doors and draw the curtains than to risk it all. There were moments when he thought about stepping outside. He'd place his hand on the doorknob and take a deep breath. But then, the thought of what might await him, chaos, danger, uncertainty, froze him in place. He would retreat, defeated, back to his window. Time passed slowly in Arthur's small apartment. Dust settled on untouched furniture, and the wallpaper began to peel. Outside, seasons changed, and the world moved on without him. The children he watched from his window grew taller. The trees shed their leaves, and still, Arthur sat. His friends stopped calling. His family sent fewer texts. The world forgot about Arthur, and he, in turn, forgot how to be a part of it. But he couldn't forget the life he wished he could have. It was there every time he looked outside, the laughter, the freedom, the sun on people's faces. One night, as he lay in bed, tears pooling on his pillow, Arthur whispered, "I wish I could live." It was a simple wish, one that many might take for granted. But for Arthur it was a mountain he didn't know how to climb. The days continued. The window remained his only connection to the world he longed to join but feared too much to face. Life went on, as it always does, indifferent to those too afraid to live it.
Thank you for listening to English Audio Lounge. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more audio stories and video classes to improve your English.